Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to History Maker Baseball from the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network. My name is Dave Little, and I am pleased to be coming to you live tonight from the Dave Cave with Game 3 of the Best 2 out of 3 series in the Best Team I've Ever Seen tournament. Brought to you by History Maker Baseball. Live from the Dave Cave. I'm still fiddling around with my channel settings and haven't quite got this whole connection between YouTube and XSplit on my desktop figured out quite yet, but we are working on it so that I can see on the YouTube and the chat room all at the same time. And if I click the right buttons here, it looks like I have got it. Trying to get into the chat room. Here is the video. I've got the spinning circle. And indeed, here is the chat, and we are live, as it would appear. Yes, here we go. All right, so on the screen you see the particulars for tonight's game. The starting pitchers are for the 1997 Rangers, Darren Oliver, the left-hander, will start. And for the Blue Jays, it will be Esteban Loiaza. For the Rangers, Domingo Cedeno is your hot batter for the night, and the designated hitter, Lee Stevens, is the cold guy for the Rangers. The Rangers originally rolled semi-harmonious, but then got a manager perk off of the manager chart that makes them harmonious for tonight's ball game. The Blue Jays are already harmonious on the basis of their big win over the Rangers in Game 2, an 8-4 victory led by Eric Hinsky, who will now be the hot guy for tonight's game. And the cold guy for tonight's game is Jose Cruz. Your umpires for tonight's ball game. Behind home plate is the one and only Ken Castro. Ron Juckett is your first base umpire. At second base, we have Bobby Catalano. And your third base umpire, the one and only Jim Browning. Now let's take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's game. First for the visiting Rangers, leading off and playing second base, the hottest Ranger of them all, Domingo Cedeno. Pudge Rodriguez will be catching and batting second. Batting third, the first baseman, Will Clark. Juan Gonzalez bats cleanup and plays left field. Rusty Greer plays right field and bats fifth. Dean Palmer is your number 6 hitter and your third baseman. Designated hitter tonight, batting seventh, is the cold guy, Lee Stevens. Damon Buford bats 8 and plays center field. And your gold glove shortstop, batting ninth, Benji Gill. For the homestanding Blue Jays, looking to win one here in the Rogers Center in front of their fans to move on to the quarterfinals. Leading off is Shannon Stewart, the left fielder. Batting second, Eric Hinsky, the hot guy. Josh Phelps is your designated hitter, batting third. Carlos Delgado, the slugging first baseman, is your cleanup hitter. Vernon Wells bats fifth and plays center field. Dave Berg plays second base. Surprising, Dave Berg has homered in both games of this series so far. Batting seventh is the shortstop, Chris Woodard. Batting eighth, the right fielder, Jose Cruz. And batting ninth and catching, Tom Wilson. Those are your lineups. The umpire call Domingo Cedeno steps in to lead off the game against Esteban Loiaza, and we are ready for action. First pitch of the ball game, Esteban Loiaza winds and delivers a 3-4-5. Do we have an iron catcher? Tom Wilson is semi-iron, but the decider die says no. Does the batter have a good eye? No, he is a whiffer, and that is going to be a strikeout. So the first batter of the game strikes out, and with one out and Pudge Rodriguez coming to the plate, we go to the baseball right now chart. Loiaza is now hot, Rodriguez is neutral, and on a roll of 5-6, do we have a hot pitcher? The decider die says yes. Shows his best stuff and retires the side, alternating ground out and shallow fly outs. So that means, and Will Clark will hit a shallow fly ball to right field, and that will end the inning. And quickly now we go to the bottom of the first with the score Rangers nothing, Blue Jays coming to bat. Darren Oliver, the left-hander, takes the mound for Texas. As left fielder Shannon Stewart, the leadoff hitter, digs in for the Blue Jays. And right off the bat, we've got a 1-3-5, and that takes us to the mini charts. The 1 is blue. That means we are going to the umpire mini chart. The roll is a 1-3. Do we have a questionable umpire at home? We do not. So he does not call the questionable third strike. Other umpires, like Mr. Ken Castro, call ball 4. And that will be a leadoff walk to Shannon Stewart. And that brings to the plate the hot guy, Eric Hinsky. Stewart is a neutral runner. Catching for the Rangers is Pudge Rodriguez, who is a Gold Glove catcher. So we will not attempt the steal. Left batter, and the roll is a 2-4-5. Nothing on the pitcher's column. Is the batter a hero? He is a semi-hero. The decider die says yes, and that is a single to left field. With a lead die of 2, Shannon Stewart will hold at second base. But already the Blue Jays are making noise, and the fans in the Rogers Center are making noise as the first 2 men have reached. And that brings to the plate right-handed hitting designated hitter Josh Phelps. Darren Oliver already in trouble. Wipes the sweat from his brow. Rears back and delivers. It's a 2-4-4. Is Oliver an ace? No. Is Phelps a champion? He is a semi-champion, but the decider die says no. That's going to be a strikeout. Josh Phelps is a whiffer, so he strikes out on that play. The runners are forced to hold, and with 1 out and runners still at first and second, cleanup hitter Carlos Delgado comes to the plate. Delgado digging in against Darren Oliver. Lowers the bat. Oliver checks the sign, winds and delivers. It's a 2-3-5. Is the pitcher wild? No. Is the batter eager? No. That's going to be a ground out to second base. And on a lead die of 2, that's going to go as a fielder's choice. So we'll score that 4-6. Retire Hinsky on the force out and move Shannon Stewart to third base. So Delgado will be safe on the fielder's choice. If you're scoring at home, put that down as a 4-6. Stewart moves to third. Hinsky is out at second on the force out. Delgado holds at first. And that puts runners on the corners with 2 outs for center fielder Vernon Wells. Wells moves in against Darren Oliver. Oliver winds and delivers. It's a 1-2-4. Is Oliver a control pitcher? No. Is Wells eager? Yes, he is, and that is going to be a pop out to first base. Wells swung at a bad ball. Popped out harmlessly to first base, where Will Clark makes the play to end the inning. At the end of 1 full inning, we remain scoreless as the Blue Jays threaten but do not dent the plate. Top of the second, Esteban Loiaza returns to the mound for Toronto, facing off against the mighty Juan Gonzalez. The pitch is a 2-3-6. Is the pitcher a double control or dynamic? No. Is it a pitcher batting? No. And that is going to be a base on balls for Gonzalez. Gonzalez reaches with the leadoff walk. He is a stoic runner, so he's not eligible to steal. And that'll bring Rusty Greer to the plate. Greer has had a hot series. And as he digs in against Loiaza, it's a 2-4-4. Is Loiaza an ace? No. Is Greer a champion? He is a semi-champion, but the decider die says no. Is he a whiffer? No. So that is going to be a ground ball to shortstop, and that will go as a fielder's choice. So another fielder's choice. This time it is 6-4 on the put out at second. And Greer holds it first on the fielder's choice. One man out. Dean Palmer coming to the plate now for Texas. Staring down Loiaza, leveling the bat. Loiaza winds and delivers. It's a 1-4-6. Is Loiaza a flash? No. Is Palmer a champion? No. That's going to be a ground out to second base, and this time on a lead die of 1. That will be a double play. So 4-6-3 twin killing ends the top of the second for the Rangers. And we remain scoreless as the Blue Jays come to bat in the bottom of the second. Dave Berg will lead off. As I mentioned, Berg has homered in the first 2 games of the series. The pitch from Oliver is a 4-6-6. Is Oliver a control? No. In fact, Oliver has absolutely no qualities. None good, none bad. He is a dead league average pitcher in every respect. Is Berg a home run king or a slugger? He is neither. That's going to be a ground out, a difficult ground out to the choice infielder. And the decider die chooses second baseman Domingo Cedeno to make the play for the first out of the inning. Chris Woodward comes to the plate now with 1 out and the base is empty. Oliver winds and delivers a 2-3-4. Are there runners on base? No. Is Woodward the hot batter? No. That's going to be a pop-up to third base for the second out of the inning. And that brings to the plate the cold guy, Jose Cruz, for the Blue Jays. Cruz took an offer in Game 2 of the series. Playing right field tonight. The pitch is a 4-4-5. Is Oliver a workman? Of course not. He's nothing. Is Cruz patient? No. That's a ground out to first base, and that ends the inning. We'll score that one 3-1. And through 2 innings complete, we remain scoreless. We move to the top of the third, and it will be the designated hitter Lee Stevens leading off for the Rangers. Stevens is your cold guy for tonight. The pitch to Stevens from Loiaza is a 2-5-6. Is Loiaza a struggler? He is a semi-struggler, and the decider die says no. Is the batter a champion or patient? No. And that's going to take us to the infield drama chart. And the infield drama roll is a 5-5. Is the first baseman iron? Your first baseman is Carlos Delgado, and he is a neutral fielder. So there will not be a wild throw to the pitcher covering first. Instead, it is a routine ground out, 3-1 on the putout. Delgado to save the base runner and record the out at first. And that'll bring Damon Buford to the plate with nobody on and 1 man out. The pitch to Buford is a 3-6-6. Nothing. It's a pinch hitter batter. No, it's not. That's a fly out to center field for the second out of the inning. This game is just flying by as Benji Gill comes to the plate. Loiaza looking to complete the third inning hitless. And the roll is a 4-6-6. Is the pitcher a control? Yes, the pitch is red. That was the jinx of the announcer on that play. As Gill strokes a clean single to left, and the Rangers have their first hit of the ball game, and that brings the hot guy Domingo Cedeno to the plate for the Rangers. The pitch from Loiaza is a 1-3-6. Is Loiaza an ace? No. Is the batter a whiffer or cold? He is a whiffer, and that is a strikeout. So Cedeno strikes out to end the inning and take us to the bottom of the third. with Darren Oliver returning to the mound to face the number 9 batter, Tom Wilson, leading off in the person of Shannon Stewart. Wilson is stoic. He ain't going nowhere. Oliver delivers a 1-1-2. Is Oliver a flash? No. Is Stewart a sad sack? No. And we have a check with the scorer play. So Stewart is going to reach first base, and we're going to wait for the scoring decision. The scoring decision is a roll of 3, which is a base hit. The third bases are making some noise here against Darren Oliver. And that brings your hot-hitting Eric Hinske to the plate. Hinske now, lefty versus lefty. The roll is a 1-1-5. Is the pitcher fresh? Yes, he is. That's going to be a pop out to the second baseman for the first out of the inning. The runners are forced to hold, and that brings Josh Phelps to the plate. With runners at first and second, now 1 out. Oliver looking for a ground ball double play to escape trouble here in the bottom of the third, and the roll is a 1-2-2. Is Oliver a workman? No. Is Phelps a champion or a whiffer? He is a whiffer. He is a semi-champion also, but the decider die says no. And this is one of those weird rolls. Because he's a whiffer, that is going to be a nubbed infield single to third base. Infield hit for Josh Phelps. And we now have the bases loaded with 1 man out for the dangerous Carlos Delgado. Infield is back all the way around looking for the double play as Delgado moves in against Darren Oliver. Delgado hit into a fielder's choice his first time up. This time Oliver winds and delivers a 1-1-6. Is Oliver fresh? Yes, he is. That is a strikeout. Oliver blows away Carlos Delgado in a big situation with the bases loaded and 1 out. Runners are forced to hold, and Oliver is now 1 man away from escaping the threat here in the bottom of the third. That man is Wells looking to do some damage and get the first run of the game or more across the plate. The roll is a 1-4-5. Is Oliver a struggler? No. Nothing in the batter's column. That is going to be a routine ground ball out to the third baseman to end the inning. So once again, Oliver pitches out of trouble. And through 3 innings complete, we remain scoreless. Clinton Parks, welcome to the chat room if I've not already welcomed you. And welcome to anybody else who is either catching us live or catching us on the replay. Once again, this is Game 3 of the best-of-3 series between the 1997 Rangers and the 2002 Blue Jays, here in the round of 16 of the best team I've ever seen tournament. Winner of this game will move on to the final 8. Actually, the final 4 on the American League bracket side. Leading off in the top of the 4th for the Rangers, it will be Pudge Rodriguez against Loiaza. The roll is a 4-6-6. Is Loiaza a control pitcher? Yes, he is. And that pitch is red, and it is a single to left field. So Rodriguez gives the Rangers a leadoff base runner, and that brings to the plate Will Clark. Clark, it's another 4-6-6 in the field. That ball is hit right in front of Rodriguez, so he is going to hold up. First sniff of trouble for Loiaza here in tonight's ball game. In the top of the 4th, as the first 2 men have reached. The pitch to Gonzalez is a 1-2-5. Is Loiaza a struggler? He is a semi-struggler, and the decider die says yes. And that is going to be a deep drive to left field and a fence check. Gonzalez gets hold of one. Gonzalez is a semi-slugger and a full home run king. And on a roll of 2, that ball is out of here. Juan Gonzalez goes deep in the top of the 4th with a 3-run shot to put the Rangers on top and silence the crowd here at the Rogers Center. Juan Gonzalez got all of that one. And with one swing of the bat, the Rangers have taken a 3-0 lead here in the top of the fourth inning. Rusty Greer now comes to the plate. As the mood grows a little more tense here in Toronto. The pitch to Greer is a 1-2-4. Is this a control pitcher? Yes, it is. That's going to be a ground out to short. And finally, we have the first out of the inning for the Rangers. That brings late Dean Palmer. Palmer squaring off against Loiaza. Palmer swings and hits a 2-3-3. Is the pitcher an ace or a star? No. Is the batter a slugger? He is a slugger, and that's a home run to left field. Excuse me, I'm reading it wrong, I suppose. And with 2 outs to the plate comes this, and that will be a strikeout to end the inning. But through 3.5, the Rangers are on the board. It is a 3-0 ball game. As the Blue Jays come to the plate in the bottom of the fourth, looking for the opportunity to make some hay against Darren Oliver and keep this game close. The pitch to Berg is a 2-2-4. Is at bat, so he is not a hot hitter. He is not cold since he made contact last time up. Oliver, in this case, is semi-cold. And on a roll of 3-4, do we have a cold batter? No. So it is not a weak dribbler to the pitcher. Instead, it is a fly out to right field. That weak dribbler to the pitcher would have affected the entire team and caused routine alternating ground outs and pop outs to end the inning. Instead, it's just a fly out to right. Berg will hold it first, and that guy tonight. As we go back to our standard charts. Is the batter eager? No. Jose Cruz. Darren Oliver now has put 2 men on base with only 1 out, and that is going to take us game. As Tom Wilson comes to the plate, and the roll on the team chemistry chart is a 1-1. Is there pitching team harmony? Yes, there is. Infielder drifts back to glove the lazy pop fly. And it will be Will Clark making the catch for the second out. That brings us to 2 men on, 2 men out, and Shannon Stewart represents the Blue Jays' last hope to do some damage against Oliver this inning and perhaps take a bite out of that 3. Is Stewart a home run king? No. So he does not get the home run. Instead, he gets a routine fly. And the Rangers hold a 3-0 lead heading into the top of the 5th. Loiaza comes back to them, and then the top of the order for Domingo Cedeno. The pitch to Buford is a 1-1-2. Is Loiaza a flash? No. Is Buford a sad sack? No. That's going to be another check with scorer roll. Buford is ruled safe at first, and that is ruled a base hit off the glove of Eric Hensky. So a leadoff single of the infield variety for Damon Buford, and that brings Ben favors Loiaza, and he gets Gill to strike out swinging for the first out of the inning. So let's do a couple of decide or die rolls here. The first roll will be for Buford. He is semi-active, and the PIP says that he is active. From Wilson's standpoint, he is iron. So on a 1-5. Buford is going to be able to steal second base, assuming that he gets his lead. And in this case, the decider die is blank, so he does not get the lead, and Buford has to hold at first base. Good last struggler, the decider die says yes, and that is going to be another fence job. Another fence going to be off the top of the fence for a double. A double for Domingo Cedeno on a lead die of 1. An active runner can score on any hit, but we already rolled for Buford and found out that he was not active on this play, so he is going to have to pull in at third base. And with a 3-run lead, there's no reason to risk. Buford is held at third. Domingo pulls in at second base. The pitch to Pud Rodriguez is a 2-4-6. Is the pitcher controlled in third? So that goes 1-3, and the runners are forced to hold. Batter now with runners at second and third is Will Clark, and the infield will be able to play back against the left-handed hitting Will Clark. And that's going to bring Juan Gonzalez to the plate. Exciting game of the series. Bullpen. So Loiaza pitches 4-2. And for the Blue Jays in their bullpen, everybody is able to go. So what we need now is, for the Blue Jays, a solid righty reliever who can come into the game in this clutch situation and deal with the slugger Juan Gonzalez. And it is going to be Cliff Polite. Polite, however you pronounce that. Polite pitched 1 inning in the last game, so he can go as many as 3. The bullpen rules I use are taken from Stratomatic tournaments. And according to the Stratomatic tournament rules, relief pitchers cannot pitch in 4 consecutive games, and they cannot pitch more than 4 innings in any stretch of 4 games, and they cannot pitch more than 4 innings in a single game. Polite pitched 1 inning in the last game and had 2 days off prior to that, so he can go full 3 innings if they need him. I probably won't let him go more than 2 because that is when the freshness wears off. But for now, it will be Polite stepping in against Juan Gonzalez. And since Polite is coming in the middle of an inning, he will get which he carries. So this is a big play. An ace, he strikes out Juan Gonzalez, and that ends the inning. And the frustrated Rangers leave the bases loaded. Rangers still hold a 3-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th, but a collective sigh of relief from all of the great fans here at the Rogers Center. Eric Hinske steps in, Darren Oliver here in the bottom of the 5th for the Blue Jays. Hinske is your hot hitter today. And the roll is a 5-6-6. Is the pitcher wild? No. Does the batter have a good eye? No. And that's going to be a strikeout. Hinske strikes out to open the bottom of the 5th. And that will take us to the baseball right now charge. Josh Phelps is your batter. He got a hit in his last at bat, so he is considered in the 5th inning semi-hot. Darren Oliver is also semi-hot as he struck out the last batter he faced. And the roll is a 4-5. Do we have a cold batter? No. So that is not a swing and a miss. Instead, that is a ground out to first base. Score that put out 3-1 for the second out of the inning. And that brings to the plate Carlos Delgado. Left-hander against left-hand batter as Oliver winds and delivers. The pitch is a 2-3-5. Is the pitcher wild? No. Is the batter eager? No. That's going to be a ground out to second base, and that ends the inning. So we are now through 5 complete, and it remains a 3-0 ball game in favor of the Rangers. Cliff Polite will be on to pitch here in the top of the 6th for the Blue Jays. This is his 2nd inning of work, and in History Maker Baseball they count the inning not based on the number of outs, but just based on the fact that Polite came to the mound and pitched in the 5th. That's his 1st inning. This is now his 2nd inning, and his fatigue status is considered semi-fresh. The pitch from Polite is a 1-4-6. Is Polite a flash? He is a full flash, and that is a strikeout. Polite is mowing him down here for the Blue Jays since he came on in relief. And your 1-out batter now is 3rd baseman Dean Palmer. The pitch to Palmer is a 3-3-5. Is Polite wild? No. Is Palmer a sad sack? No. And that's going to be a single to right field. Stevens, the left-handed hitting DH. The pitch to Stevens is a 1-1-2. Is the pitcher a flash? Yes, he is, and that is a strikeout. So all three men retired by Paletti have been retired by way of the strikeout. Palmer holds at first, and your two-out batter for the Rangers is Damon Buford. Buford, the center fielder, swings and hits a 2.55 as the pitcher decider die says no. Is Buford a home run king? No, he is not. And that's going to be a routine fly ball to left field. And Juan Gonzalez moves under that ball. Shannon Stewart moves under that ball and makes the catch to retire the side. So Paletti does his job. He gives up one base runner, but keeps the Rangers at bay and keeps it a 3-0 ball game. And that's Paletti's job in this situation, is simply to keep it close. In one hit, Vernon Wells steps in to lead it off for the Blue Jays. The pitch is a 1.45. Is Oliver a struggler? No. Nothing in the batter's column, and that is simply going to be a ground out to third base. And that's your first out of the inning. That brings to the plate second baseman Dave Berg, the number 6 hitter. The pitch from Oliver is a 2-3. Is Oliver wild? No. Is Berg a slugger with one man out? Chris Woodard is now your batter for the Blue Jays against Darren Oliver. The pitch to Woodard is a 2.46. Is Oliver a control? No. Is Woodward eager? Yes, he is. He's a semi-eager, and the decider die says yes. So that will be a pop-out to third base. And the two-out batter will be the cold guy, right fielder Jose Cruz. Cruz standing in against Oliver. The pitch is a 1.25. Is Oliver a struggler? No. Is Cruz patient? No. Is he a whiffer? Yes. That's going to be a strikeout. And it remains a 3-0 ball game in favor of the Blue Jays. So we will let Paletti at least start the inning. And if he gets in trouble, we'll go to the bullpen. Benji Gill is your leadoff batter, standing in against Paletti, righty versus right-hand batter. The pitch is a 3.36. Is the pitcher an ace or dynamic? No. Is the batter a sad sack, utility, or patient? He is semi-utility, but the decider die says no, and that's going to be a single to center field. Gill with the lead for Cliff Paletti, but he did a good job while he was out there. He got out of trouble. Cassidy against Cedeno. Cedeno is the hot hitter, and since this is the first pitcher that Cassidy has faced in the middle of an inning, Cassidy gets the ace quality. The pitch is a 1.46. Is he a flash? He is a semi-flash. The decider die says yes, and that's a strikeout. So Cedeno strikes out for the first out. Benji Gill not a threat to steal. With Gill remaining on first is Pudge Rodriguez. Rodriguez 1 for 3, a single and a pair of ground outs. The pitch from Cassidy is a 2.46. Is Cassidy a control? No. So Eric Hensky moves over and makes the catch for Toronto. And your two-out batter for the Rangers is Will Clark. Clark standing in against Cassidy. The pitch is a 1.66. Is Cassidy a workman? No. Is Clark a whiffer? He is a semi-whiffer. The decider die says no. And that will be a ground ball to third base to end the inning. So no runs for Texas in the top of the 7th. And that takes us to the 7th inning stretch. Take me out to the ball game, sang the broadcaster for the Blue Jays. Probably sang it in either English or French, who knows. But as we go to the bottom of the 7th, we have a decision to make. Darren Oliver is facing 9-1-2, righty, righty, lefty. He's carrying a 3-run lead. He's no longer fresh. So we will let him stay in the ball game until he gets in trouble here in the 7th. Tom Wilson is your leadoff hitter for the Blue Jays. Wilson is an average hitter with a semi-home run king designation. So it will be Wilson, the right-handed batter, stepping in against the lefty Oliver. And the pitch is a 1-5-5. Nothing on the pitcher's column. Is the batter a home run king? Oh, the decider die says no. So he did not get all of that one. It's not a home run to center. It's a ball to center field. Buford moves back to the warning track and makes the catch for the first out of the base is empty. Oliver gives a sigh of relief and a tip of the cap to Buford after that nice play in center field. And Oliver's pitch to Shannon Stewart is a 2-6-6. Are there runners on base? No. Is this the leadoff hitter? Yes. Shannon Stewart is the leadoff hitter. So that's going to be a single to center field for Stewart. And that brings Eric Hinske to the plate. Hinske is a lefty against Oliver, who is a left-handed pitcher. Hinske is also the hot guy for the Blue Jays. So my instincts tell me it is time to go to the bullpen. So we will remove Oliver from the game after 6 1/3 innings of what has been so far shutout baseball. Although the runner on first, Shannon Stewart, is the responsibility of Oliver. Oliver can win it, he cannot lose it. Coming in from the bullpen for the Rangers is going to be Eric Gunderson. Gunderson did appear in the previous game, but he only pitched a third of an inning. And he had a couple of days rest before that. So it will be Eric Gunderson coming on to face Eric Hinske for the Rangers. And I believe I have forgotten to change my pitchers for the Blue Jays, and that's on me. Dang it. Oh well. We know what's up, and Loiaza is still going to take the loss thus far. So we're okay. Hinske is the batter. 1 man on, 1 man out. Eric Gunderson on to pitch for the Rangers. He'll have the ace quality. 1-4-6 is the roll. Is the pitcher a flash? Gunderson is a semi-flash. The decider die he faces. And the last best hope for the Blue Jays is Josh Phelps. Gunderson winds and delivers a 2-5-5. Is he a star? He's a semi-star. The decider die says yes, and that is a strikeout. As the Blue Jays go down in the bottom of the 7th and they remain scoreless. Okay, now I got to fix the pitching. He came in during the 7th, so he is now semi-fresh. All right. 5, and that is with a black 5, it's going to be balks and bogeys result. So let's see what happens on the balks and bogeys chart. And we'll just go back to the standard charts. Cassidy winds and delivers to Gonzalez. This time it's a 4-6-6. Is Cassidy a star? No. Is Gonzalez sad sack, utility, or... And that brings Rusty Greer to the plate. Cassidy digs in against Greer. The pitch to Greer is a 3-3-3. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a utility or a sad sack? No. And that is going to be a triple into the gap. Rusty Greer turns on an inside fastball and drills it into the right center field gap. Gonzalez rounds second, he rounds third, and so Juan Gonzalez scores, and Rusty Greer pulls into third base with a triple. Infield is going to be in all the way around now for Dean Palmer, as the righty Cassidy will remain in the game to face the right-handed hitting Dean Palmer. The pitch to Palmer is a 4-5-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter patient? No. That's going to be a fly out to center field. Runner on third base scores on that fly ball, so that will go as a sacrifice fly for Palmer. And that will score another run for Texas. And let's see, on the 4-5-6, that was a fly out to center. And that scores the 5th run of the ball game for Texas. And that brings the lefty Lee Stevens to the plate. The damage has been done here against Cassidy. But the Blue Jays have plenty of fresh pitching in their bullpen. And they are going to go to the best guy they have left to prevent any further damage in this deciding game of the series, and that is going to... The bases are now empty after the sacrifice fly, and there's one out for the left-handed batting Lee Stevens. The pitch to Stevens is a 3-4-5. Do we have an iron catcher? We have a semi-iron catcher, but the desired eye says no. Is the batter a good eye? No. That's going to be a strikeout. So Grady comes into the game and gets the first out on a strikeout of Lee Stevens. And that's going to take us to our baseball right now chart. Damon Buford comes to the plate. He is a neutral batter in this situation. Heredia is a full hot pitcher. And on a roll of 2-6. Do we have a hot pitcher? Yes. He overpowers the batter with his best pitch, and that is a strikeout. And that is going to end the inning for the Rangers. We are now through. And as we go to the bottom of the 8th, it is now a 5-0 ball game in favor of the Rangers. Eric Gunderson is going to come out for his second inning of work. Left-handed pitcher against the leadoff hitter, or the leadoff batter of the inning, Carlos Delgado, who is the left-handed batter. The pitch from Gunderson is a 1-2-3. Is he both flash and fresh? He is a semi-flash, and the decider die says yes. He is semi-fresh, and the decider die says no, so that will not be a strikeout. There's nothing on the batter's column, and on the fielder's column we've got a ground ball to shortstop, and it will be a routine 6-3 ground out as Benji Gill makes the play. That brings to the plate Vernon Wells, batting righty. The pitch is a 1-2-2. Is the pitcher a workman? No. Is the batter a champ or a whiffer? He is a semi-whiffer. The decider die says yes, and that's that goofy one man out, and brings Dave Berg to the plate. We've got righty-righty, switchy-righty. Let's see what the Rangers have in their bullpen by way of right-handed pitching. They have Danny Patterson, who pitched 1 inning in the previous game. And the Rangers have to start thinking about the next series because there are no days off between series. This is going to be a test of the bullpens. And with a 5-run lead, they're gonna ride Gunderson for, or should they pull Gunderson and bring in one of their lefty middle guys? Let's do that. We're going to bring in Xavier Hernandez, who has yet to pitch in any of these series. So they're going to try and sneak him out there with a 5-run lead. Hernandez, the right-handed pitcher, facing Dave Berg, the right-hand batter. The pitch from Hernandez is a 3-4-4. Is Hernandez a prospect? No, he's a semi-icon. Is Berg patient? No. And that's a pop out to second base. The runner at first holds, and your 2-out batter for the Blue Jays is the shortstop, Chris Woodard. Pitch from Hernandez is a 3-3-4. Is he an ace or a star? No. Is the batter a sad sack? No. That is going to be a single to left. And all runners advance 2 bases on a lead die of 3. So Wells coasts into third. Woodard safe at first. And your 2-out batter now is the cold guy, Jose Cruz. Cruz is a slugger, so a semi-slugger, so he does have the opportunity to take a chunk out of this deficit with one swing of the bat. The pitch from Hernandez is a 2-4-5. Nothing on the pitcher's column. Is the batter a hero? No. That is going to be a pop out to second base, and that is once again going to end the inning for the Blue Jays, who have now left 11 men on base. All right, so the Rangers come to bat for what they hope will be the final time. For the Blue Jays, it will be, they're just going to go ahead and bring in the closer, Kelvin Messi, Benji Gill, Domingo Cedeno, and Pudge Rodriguez. Escobar winds and delivers. The pitch is a 1-1-5. Is he fresh? He indeed is fresh, and that is going to be a pop out to the shortstop. Rangers batting for what they hope will be the final time, as Domingo Cedeno, the leadoff hitter, digs in. The pitch from Escobar is a 1-2-5. Is he a struggler? No. Is the batter patient? No. Is the batter a whiffer? Yes, and that's going to be a strikeout. So Escobar blows away Domingo Cedeno, and the two-out batter now will be Pudge Rodriguez. The pitch to Pudge is a 3-3-4. Is the pitcher an ace or a star? No. Is the batter a sad sack? No. That's going to be a sack. And with two outs and Rodriguez on first, Will Clark comes to the plate. Clark, the left-hand batter, swings and hits a 1-1-3. Is the pitcher an ace? No. Is the batter a slugger? He is a semi-slugger, and the decider die says yes. That's going to go as a double to left field. With two outs, any runner scores from second on any hit. Rodriguez is a stoic runner, so he'll have to pull in at third. And that brings Juan Gonzalez to the plate with 2 on and 2 out. Gonzalez singled his last time up, had the big 3-run homer earlier in the game that's put the Rangers in the catbird seat. The pitch from Escobar is a 1-2-5. Is he a struggler? Not yet. Is the batter patient? No. Is he a whiffer? Yes, that's going to be a strikeout. And that ends the inning for Escobar. But the Blue Jays are still in a 5-run hole. And for the Rangers, it is going to be John Wetland. It's the closeout game of the series. Wetland has yet to pitch in this tournament, so might as well get him out there. He's not going to lose any effectiveness in the future games by pitching 1 inning here tonight. In fact, that's going to keep him sharp. And the Blue Jays are immediately going to go to their bench for a pinch hitter, if they have anybody who's any good. Let's see, Mark McLemore is a switch hitter who is a semi-hero. And that would appear to be their best pinch hitting option. So Wilson will be taken down. No, that's the wrong bench. Old age again. We want the Blue Jays bench. Somebody who can bat lefty. Orlando Hudson is a semi-hero. And that's the best option. So good hitting backup infielder, same outcome, only it is Hudson instead of Tom Wilson. So Wilson comes out, and Orlando Hudson comes into the game to pinch hit against John Wetland. The pitch from Wetland is a 2-3-6. Is Wetland a double control? No. Is this a pitcher batting? No. And that's going to be a leadoff walk to Hudson. Seems innocent enough, but let's hope that doesn't come back to bite Wetland and lead to bigger things as the leadoff batter Shannon Stewart comes to the plate. The pitch from Wetland is a 2-4-6. Is Wetland control? He is a semi-control, but the decider die says no. Is Stewart eager or a sad sack? No. That's going to be another base on balls. So the fans are getting a little bit excited, whoever's left at the Rogers Center, as Wetland walks the first 2 men he faces here in the bottom of the 9th with a 5-run lead. And the hot-hitting Eric Hinsky coming to the plate. Hinsky batting lefty. The pitch is a 3-4-4. Is the pitcher a prospect? No. Is the batter patient? He is semi-patient, but the decider dies. And instead of a base on balls, that's going to be a pop out to second base. So Wetland manages to get the first out of the inning, and that brings to the plate the slugger and semi-champion Josh Phelps. Phelps squares up against Wetland. The pitch is a 1-1-2. Is Wetland a flash? Yes, he is, and that is a strikeout. And with that strikeout, the Blue Jays are down to their final out in the person of Carlos Delgado. Delgado wants to keep the inning going. If we can get Delgado on base and Vernon Wells on base, then that would bring the tying run to the plate. But that's a tall order against a quality relief pitcher like John Wetland. Wetland's delivery to Delgado is a 1-3-4. Do we have a gold catcher? Yes, we do. That's Pud Rodriguez. So that is going to be a strikeout, and that is going to end the ball game. Wetland strikes out Delgado to end the ball game, and your final score is going to be Texas 5 and Toronto nothing. A combined shutout authored by the Rangers. Darren Oliver, Eric Gunderson, Xavier Hernandez, and John Wetland for Texas combined on a 9-hit shutout as the Blue Jays leave 13 men on base, and the crowd here at the Rogers Center is going to go home disappointed. There are going to be some mistakes in the box score, but we'll take a look anyways. The batting should just be fine. For the victorious Rangers, the star of the game, of course, Juan Gonzalez with that 3-run homer. They also got RBIs from Rusty Greer on that triple, and he scored on the sac fly from Dean Palmer. And that was the sum total of your offense for the victorious Rangers. For the losing Blue Jays, the sum total of your offense was absolutely nothing. 2 hits for the leadoff guy, Shannon Stewart. 2 more hits for Dave Berg. Nothing else in between. No extra base hits tonight for the Blue Jays, and that made all the difference in the world. The pitching stars: Darren Oliver went 6 1/3 of shutout innings. Eric Gunderson 1 complete. Xavier Hernandez 2/3, and John Wetland 1 complete to close out the shutout and give the victory to the Texas Rangers. So the Rangers move on to the American League semifinals on the strength of a 5-0 victory. The Rangers are going to have the veteran Ken Hill starting in the next game, although he has a not very impressive ERA in 1997, if I recall correctly. And say goodbye to the Blue Jays. No more Roy Halladay. No more Carlos Delgado in this tournament, as the Blue Jays bow out in the round of 16 in the best team I've ever seen tournament. Once again, your final score tonight from the Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario, Canada: the Texas Rangers 5, the Toronto Blue Jays nothing. Thanks to Clint Late Replay. Be sure to like and subscribe to these videos. And thank you all for joining me. Next on the channel this week, may try to get on tomorrow with some Heartland Championship Wrestling action. I might get on Sunday. I doubt that I'll get on Sunday because there's a lot of football on, and I like to watch football while I roll dice and not necessarily be online. And on Monday night, for the very first time, my channel is going to feature the first ever Spiritual Journey broadcast. I have been wanting to do this since I started live streaming, and on Monday I have finally been convinced and convicted to get started with some faith-based broadcasts, which will be accessible to anybody who's on my Facebook friends list. So if a faith-based YouTube broadcast is of interest, please join me on Monday night. And if that is not your cup of tea, then we'll still be doing it again. Thank you for checking out tonight's